Hi everyone, Bill here, and welcome to entry 4 of Burton Month! Today we are talking about one of my personal favorite Tim Burton movies and the film that got Winona Ryder out of Godfather 3. I swear that's true, go ahead, look it up. The internet exists. Edward Scissorhands. Let's look at the story. An inventor, played by Vincent Price, is creating a man named, Edward, played by Johnny Depp. But Edward is incomplete and he has scissors for hands. Well, one day, the inventor finds hands that he's going to put on Edward, but unfortunately, the inventor suddenly dies and Edward is left on his own. Until one day, a saleswoman, Peg, played by Diane Weiss, sees Edward. And seeing that he's alone, she takes him in with her family, with her husband, played by Alan Arkin, her son, played by Robert Olivieri, and her beautiful daughter, Kim, played by Winona Ryder, who later becomes a love interest of Edward. And he gets along with the neighbors, he cuts their lawn, cuts their dog's hair, cuts their hair, until one day something goes awry, and they turn on him. Okay. Fun story. When I was about 5 or 6, I had this neighbor who babysat me. And we watched this movie and it scared the ever-loving crap out of me. Again, I was like 6. The Huffalumps and Woozles from Winnie the Pooh scared me. But years later, I think this was the summer between my junior and senior year of high school. She graduated from law school, so we went to her grad party, and she wrote a thank you note to us. And this was years later. Like I said, that incident happened when I was 6. This was when I was like 17, I think. I was getting ready for my senior year of high school. And in the thank you card, she wrote, "Sorry for the Edward Scissorhands trauma." I could hold that over her head, but I'm not going to. But now let's go into my thoughts on this. Let's start with Johnny Depp as Edward. Fantastic. He's fantastic. Like, I'm not the biggest Johnny Depp fan. Like, I don't hate him. I like him when I like him. Um, my criticism with him is when he's on screen, you don't see the character. You just see Johnny Depp playing Johnny Depp. But here, he actually does immerse himself into the character of Edward, and this was when he was really young. I think this was one of his first major film roles. But I think he's great as Edward, and Edward as a character is just so likable. He's just so wide-eyed and innocent, and it's just about him navigating the world, and as he's been isolated for so long, he doesn't know what the world is like, and he's just so likable. When something good happens to him, you feel happy for him. When something bad happens, you do feel relatively sorry for him. It's just, oh, he's just such a good character, and it's a movie that really makes you feel with him. And yeah, let's talk about Winona Ryder's character, Kim. I think she's really good in this. Her and Johnny Depp really have some chemistry. Well, maybe it does have to do with the fact that her and Depp were actually together at the time, so I think that probably has something to do with it. They're just, at first, with Edward, it's love at first sight. With Kim, it takes a little while, well, because at the time that they meet, she does have a boyfriend who's an absolute dick. But it does take a while for her to develop feelings for him because he's so kind, because he's so innocent. And, the rest of the family, Diane Weiss is your typical nice suburban mom. Alan Arkin's your typical hardworking blue-collar suburban dad. Their son, Kevin, played by Robert Olivieri, he's just there. He's not bad, he's just there. The neighbors, I think, are absolutely hilarious because I love how the movie just pokes fun at suburbia. The cookie cutter lawns, the, you have your typical neighbors, you have you have the nice, welcoming neighbors, you have the gossipy neighbors, you have the overtly religious neighbors. From someone like me who grew up in the suburbs, this is what it's like, folks. This is what suburban life is like. It's just so, it's really just connects to me on that. And also the emotion of the story. Like, this, I would say, is one of Tim Burton's heavier films. It's not one of those fun popcorn flicks like Pee-wee or Beetlejuice or, Batman had its emotional and heavy moments, but not like this. It's not quirky. Like, the score sounds a little quirky here and there, but yeah, it's just I was actually crying. I had tears in my eyes during the last act, and it's just he does it. Burton does it perfectly. And also Vincent Price. This was actually his last film role before he sadly passed away 3 years later. And he he's not in the movie that long. He's only in it like 3 scenes. I think he was planned to be in it more, but at this time he wasn't in the best of health, so he was only in it for a few scenes. But he's pretty enjoyable. He just chews up the screen. Like, one of the part is like when he's reading Edward and etiquette book, goes, "Yeah, it's boring. Let's go some poetry." And he's reading it and he's like, "Go ahead, you can smile, it's funny." Yeah, I think he's very enjoyable. Okay, now I'm gushed about this movie a lot. Okay, but no film is exactly perfect. So here's some of my criticisms. The score, I really do like the score. I think it's a little different from the others, but like there is this one scene when it's like, mm, when it's like seeing like a monster's coming, they're just driving to work. Well, that's like the only thing, and the rest of the score, okay, this isn't a criticism, it's unique. It's really unique. Um, here are, okay, here's one mild criticism and one, I wouldn't call it major, maybe more moderate. Um, the minor criticism is there are times, they don't do it often to be credit, but there are times that they do have like scissored hand jokes. Like they're trying to wink to the camera and say, "Get it? He has scissors for hands! Isn't that hilarious?" Like the famous waterbed scene when he accidentally pops the waterbed with his hands, like, "Ha! Get it? Get it?" Okay, yeah, we get it. And like, there's one joke that I think is kind of funny when they're at this barbecue and they say, "Hey, Edward, we're gonna let you in on our poker game Friday night. Would you like that? We have one condition: was you can't cut." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that kind of gave me a chuckle." But to be fair, they do stop it before it gets too old. But there are times when you feel like someone's nudging you, go, "Get it? Get it? Yes, this is for hands. Isn't that hilarious?" Okay, yeah, we get it. But to be fair, they do stop before it gets too old. Um, the second criticism, okay, I actually thought of another one, and again, this is more of a minor one. I feel the flashbacks are a little out of place, like they just come out of nowhere. But I feel like maybe they should have put it maybe a little bit in the beginning of the movie, but I feel like that would have padded it a little too much. But I feel like the flashbacks are just random. They're not awful, they're just random. And they just kind of kick you out of the story for a minute. You're just like, "Oh, okay, we don't need this. We want to know what's going on now." But it's a nitpick. Now, this is my moderate to major criticism. I am going into a bit of spoiler territory, so if you haven't seen this movie, skip to about here. Edward is talked into doing something bad. He, Kim's boyfriend Jim, yeah, Kim and Jim, um, are talking about breaking into Jim's parents' house to get money. And they have Edward help him so he could pick the locks. I know, another scissor joke. Then he gets arrested. And like, here's the problem. Like they said, oh, they stole from Jim. Yeah, they stole it. Edward says, oh, they stole it, and he goes, yeah, they stole it. But yet later on, when he's at the police station, when they're psychologically examining him, they say the problem is he's been isolated from society for so long he doesn't know the difference between right and wrong. So that's why he didn't know what he's doing. But I'm sorry, that's a little contradictory. I'm sorry. You're trying to paint Edward off as someone as innocent and doesn't know the difference from right and wrong. But when he said, oh, they stole it from him, I'm sorry, he kind of already knows that stealing is wrong. That's kind of a contradictory message you're sending. But again, maybe they told him about stealing being wrong off screen. I don't know. But okay, maybe it's not as major as I thought. But it does kind of send a little bit of a mixed message. But yeah, and also I actually do have a couple quick praises of this movie. The design is really good. I love the whatchamacallit, the lawn statues that he makes with his hands. I think the scissor hands look pretty cool. A little dated because this was made in like the late '80s, early '90s. I love the makeup job they did on Depp, and just overall, this is just such a good film. It's just, and I realize there's actually a lot of homages to horror movies, like Frankenstein when they're going after Edward, when Edward's running back into the castle and they're following him. It's like when the villagers are chasing the monster, and also Beauty and the Beast, the fairy tale, because this was released 1 year before the Disney adaptation came out. But look at it. Kim is sort of like Belle, Edward is the Beast, and Jim is basically Gaston because he gets jealous of Edward. And I'm not gonna get into too much spoilers, but overall, and I love this movie because I love the message in it. The message is that being different is not something to scoff at, but something to celebrate. And I think this is a good message to anyone who's felt like an outsider, to anyone who's felt different. And I think it speaks to me because as someone who is on the autism spectrum, I've felt different from other people sometimes, and this movie really connects with me. And I love this movie. One of, if not my favorite Tim Burton movie. You're gonna have to look at the rankings at the end of this to see if that's number one or not. Will it be? We don't know. So I am giving Edward Scissorhands an A minus. All right, guys, have you seen Edward Scissorhands? Shoot me comments down below. Tell me your thoughts. And thank you for watching. Next time, we are returning to Gotham City for Batman Returns. Thanks, guys. Take care.